What's up, guys? AverageKiwiGuy here. How y'all doing? So I'm hanging out here in front of the Crystal Tower with my lovely character here, Talia. We are going to be talking about another class changes that are coming up for Shadowbringers for Final Fantasy XIV. We'll be talking about the monk. Um, Monk for me personally is probably my favorite melee. I absolutely love monk. I think it's a really nice class. I love it. The animations are sweet. Um, before I leveled it, I'd heard horror stories about Monk, and when I started playing it, it didn't really turn out to be that way. So maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I'm probably playing it wrong, to be honest with you. I'm probably playing it wrong. I'm no good player. I'm no good player. I am competent. I'm competent. That's what I strive to be most of this game. But anyway, we're gonna be looking at the changes that came out for Monk. So you look through all the changes and stuff like that. It's a lot of it is just general balancing things, but there are a few new abilities, and not all of them are at 70 plus. So we're gonna have a look. We're gonna have a sort of just a go down the list, and not everything, but all the general stuff, all the big stuff we'll have a look at. So shoulder charge is one that got a bit of a change. It has sort of benefited from the new charge system that's come in. You will get 2 charges of shoulder charge, which is nice. That's a nice thing. I like the charge system. I like the charge system a lot. The only thing is that charges now will have no additional effects, nothing. So they're just a pure charge, it's a pure movement thing, pure gap closer. That's it. There's no. I don't think there's not even a stun on it anymore. That's just shoulder charge is a pure gap closer now. Um, I love the charges on it. I think it frees up a little bit more of its use, allows you to sort of get around the area a little more, maybe intercept some ads and stuff without worrying that you're wasting it and stuff. It's a good move. It's a good move. I like that one. Um, so it's a nice simple change, and benefiting from the new system that's come in for the battle stuff. Then we get a new ability that you actually learn at 45. So this is going to be as you're leveling. Not even by the time you got into the Realm Reborn, you'll get this new one. This ability is actually completing the AoE combo. So this is to go in between Arm of the Destroyer and Rockbreaker. So we finally get an actual AoE to fill that gap, especially now since TP is gone. TP being gone, I think it frees us up to do a lot more AoE quite regularly, and it allows them to give us more AoE abilities without it being such a TP sink. So we've got a new ability called 4-Point Fury. It has to be executed in Raptor form. One of the additional effects of it is that it actually extends Twin Snake's duration. So you get that Twin Snake's damage buff on. This, while you're doing AoE, will keep that buff up for you. It will keep the buff up. So I like that a lot. I like that extremely a lot, because that way you don't have to go back to single target if you don't need to. So that's a nice addition. That's a really nice addition. Finally kind of completes that AoE combo together, because you always think of combos being in threes. They finally finished this one. It's all complete now, and I quite like that a lot. One other little change that they've done is they actually nerfed Elixir. So Elixir's gone down from 220 to 200 potency. Just a little balance thing, I think, there. The Riddles, Riddle of Earth and Riddle of Fire, they do not give Fists of Earth or Fists of Fire anymore when you use them. So they are just a pure buff now. Pure buff. So a pure damage resistance buff or a pure damage buff. So at least now you don't have to worry about your fists changing, like your stance is changing. You actually have it's just a buff now. So I quite like that. It's sort of simplifying it down, making it like you're more willing to use it without worrying about having to switch your fists back. when you want to go do damage, especially if you're like you do Riddle of Earth to maybe soak some damage, and then you got to switch back to fire, so you might forget or something like that. I think it just kind of takes away some of the annoying parts of that. So I like that. I like that move. It makes riddles more. I think people are more willing to use them more now, especially Riddle of Earth. Riddle of Fire is fine. That's just a damage buff, and everyone had fire on anyway. But having that that riddle to soak some damage while still having the Fist of Fire damage buff is good. It's perfect. Love that. Speaking of Fists of Fire, so this is now getting into 70 plus territory. This is getting all the new Shadowbringers stuff as you level. Fists of Fire, you get a new trait at 72. So yeah, you are getting just a trait at 72. It's not a new ability like a lot of the other classes, but it's quite a nice one. It's one that boosts your damage. So it increases the damage effect of Fists of Fire, the buff that you get from it, from 5 to 10. So it's a nice little upgrade there. Nice little upgrade. Don't have to worry about it. You still, you'll be able to move through the content quite nicely. I think that'll be it'll boost your damage. It'll boost your damage. Then we get into some new moves and stuff. Post 70, enlightenment. So enlightenment is that Hadouken looking ability that we saw in the actions video. That ability does a potency of 220 to all enemies in front of you. So it's all in a line. So it's a piercer, it goes through, and it looks pretty damn cool too. The only thing is it's only usable under 5 chakras. So you have to have 5 chakras to use it. But to help with that, you also get a trait at that level as well called Deep Meditation 2. And you will now have a 70% chance to open chakras when you crit with weapon skills. So they're making it easier to gain chakras as you're fighting. So you're not having to worry about using meditation to try and get some of it back. I like that. I like that a lot. It lets us use those chakra abilities a little bit more. So that's always a thing. And more focusing on the fight and less worrying about where your chakras are. So I don't mind that at all. Now we get into the big sort of part of what we noticed with the job actions video from Monk. Riddle of Wind, the trait. So this is a trait. This is not an ability that you pick. So when you move into Fists of Wind, you will be able to stack 4 Grease Lightnings. So this is where you get your 4th stack. But you have to be in Fists of Wind to do it. So they're definitely trying to make Fists of Wind a little more useful. And they're definitely trying to get you to use it a lot more. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I definitely would like to see how we fit it into into the rotations and stuff, like where we use it, where we don't. What sort of does that extra stack counter the loss of the damage buff from Fist of Fire? Does that extra stack disappear as soon as the Fist of Winds turns off? And I have a feeling it will. I don't know for sure. It's definitely something that I'm looking at and going, okay, we're gonna have to get used to getting that, activating Fist of Wind a little more. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we'll have to get used to with incorporating that in. So then at 78, this is where we gain the sort of meditation thing to regen our Grease Lightning. So Anatman. Anatman looks like Ant-Man. Halts the expiration of Grease Lightning, and also the present form that you're in. So it's almost like a pause button. Then it will increase those stacks of Grease Lightning for 30 seconds. So as long as you're channeling it, you're good. You're channeling. You'll bring it up. But I'm assuming once you move, they'll cancel it and you'll be on your way. I like it. I like it. I think like it will like sort of help maybe with using tornado kick and using certain abilities that you know you're spending that grease lightning, so at least you now have a way to regen it back reasonably quickly. Especially if you've got if you're in a holding pattern, like say like the boss is doing something and you got to sit and wait for it for a little bit, and you're just watching those stacks tick down. It's going to be nice to be able to use that, hold the form that you're in too, especially if you're right when you're about to do something, and sort of be able to wait it out for about 30 seconds or so, and then be able to come straight back in with the DPS that you had, and stuff like that. Or be a quick way to bring up those stacks before heading into a fight or something like that. I am interested to see the utility of it, and where people use it and where people don't. Just for clarity, like Monk will probably be one of the ones I level later on. I'm a Bard main, so I'll probably be running Bard through Shadowbringers initially, and then I really want to do Machinist as well, and then after that will be up for grabs. So it will be definitely on the list, but it will be later on. So I'll definitely be looking at those Monk mains that really find out all the tricks and stuff, and it'd be good to learn from them. And then the big sort of final ability that we get at level 80. I honestly thought it was going to be the Hadoken looking move, but apparently not. It's Six-Sided Star. It's essentially that sort of sky kick it was doing where it hit multiple times, sort of launching into the air. Looked really cool. 400 potency and extends the Grease Lightning duration to max. So this is almost like a reset. So that's quite nice. That's quite nice to sort of refresh those stacks, especially if they're starting to get down. This is something you can use to get the counter back up. Pretty simple. It's kind of a simple ability for a level 80 ability. There's no real anything tied to it. There's no mechanic tied to it. It's a pure just 400 potency, and then the Grease Lightning durations extended to max. So nice and simple, really. Nice and simple. Honestly, it's kind of a nice and simple upgrade for Monk. There's not there's a lot of nice things being put into it. Really, just sort of, I don't know, cleaning up a little bit of the mess. I think trying to not simplify it, because I hate using that word simplify, because it can be such a bad word sometimes. I think they are cleaning it up a little bit. Maybe trying to make it a little more free flowing. Did I have an issue with Monk, like with the way it played and stuff like that? I think there were a couple of bits there where it felt a little bit clunky and needed a little bit of a tweak and stuff. I think they made those tweaks. I don't think they've dumbed it down to the point where you can just sort of like push two buttons and get your way through. I think they've still kept some of that sort of technical stuff of Monk. Where honestly, I think there are other classes that, like for me personally, feel a lot more tougher than Monk. But there seems to be that sort of thing around Monk that people are like, ooh. But no, I love it. I love Monk. I think it's a fantastic thing. I love that fist, that the fist weapon sort of combat. I've always had that sort of thing in MMOs and stuff. So I dig it. I dig it a lot. And I'm excited to see the different fist weapons and stuff, and how crazy they would be for punching someone with them. Like some of the stuff out of Stormblood, like these giant spikes at the end of like a fist thing. It's like, could you imagine punching someone with that? It'd be crazy. But yeah, so I'm kind of excited for that. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a nice standard sort of buff, sort of tweak type change. Few new abilities, completing that AoE combo is nice. And then the sort of introduction of that extra Grease Lightning with Fists of Wind tied to it, and then a bit of a meditation, and then obviously the two new damage abilities. It's nice. I think Monk's going to be in a good spot. I think Monk will be in a good spot, in my humble opinion. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I'm gonna be all over this Final Fantasy stuff. I am sort of chipping my way through all of the classes. I kind of redid two of my videos because I just wasn't happy with them. Just on a production thing, it wasn't for me. I did them late at night, and it wasn't what I liked. So I kind of redid them, took the hit on that. So have a look on the channel, see what's going on. We got all the we'll have pretty much all the classes, even the ones I don't really play. I'll sort of just look at it and like how I've interacted with those classes and stuff, and I'll kind of just muddle my way through it. Sorry if that's one of your classes. I'm more of a DPS player and not much of a tank and heals. I have tanked a bit, and healed a little bit on White Mage, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So yeah, have a look around the channel. If you're interested, subscribe. That'd be really cool. It's a good way to keep up to date with everything. We'll be all over Shadowbringers stuff. We'll be all over E3 stuff in a week or two. Like, it's coming up real fast. So that's really exciting. It's a good time of year, man. It's a good time of year. I'm having a blast. Having a blast. A little sleepy, but I'm having a blast. But yeah. All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Peace. Bye.